Dink Taylor.
Well, one thing Dana didn't say is I did tell her that was a good goal. I'm just not used to people trying to knock hours off their PRs rather than minutes. You know, minutes make sense, hours does not make sense. I don't see you knock 3 more hours off. Just kind of crazy, but and I did tell you that was a good goal, and I'm glad you reached it. I put everything, I put all my thoughts about what I just did on the Ironman Grand Slam on paper, so y'all can just go read it. So I don't sit here and talk about it. If you really want to read it, it's long. It's long. It's about 10,000 words, and it's pretty detailed. It was, I really trained for Chattanooga. I figured that was my only chance to actually have a decent race would be Chattanooga, because I can't swim, and it's a downriver swim, and that swim was actually short too, so it really made things really nice. And the bike's super fast, there's no wind and all that good stuff. But how wonderful it feels to finish an Ironman, right? Well, each time I finished an Ironman, I could not feel that wonderful, because I knew 2 weeks later I'd be doing another one. Except for Maryland, I was a little disappointed that got canceled, because I already had it in my mind that I was going to be doing 2 Ironmans in 1 week. I wanted to do that because it was Sunday to Saturday. So I was a little disappointed there, but then my body was more thankful because I got that week of recovery. So each time I would finish one, it worked out good. I was just doing an Ironman every other week. And I would, there was lots of surprises. I knew I would gradually get tireder and tireder, which was no doubt. Even when we were in Louisville, I wasn't expecting it to be that hilly. And I was like, damn, I can't believe I'm back out here on the bike again for 112. But the run was fabulous. Louisville was probably the best weather for me out of the 4 that I did, because yeah, and then of course the Louisville run's flat too. If you're not much of a runner, Louisville's a course to do, and the weather's great there since they moved it to October. And it was the only wetsuit legal one I did out of the 4. Everything else, we were barely missing wetsuits. 3 of the races were 77 degrees, which I figured, doing 4, I needed to make it as hard as possible. I did the 4 because turning 50 was just an excuse to go do a bunch of Ironmans to me. I needed a challenge, and I thought it would be fun and it'd be an adventure, and I did it for personal reasons. I just, you know how it is. I had just personal reasons I wanted to do it, and I thought it would be fun. But it was kind of weird finishing Ironmans and not being finished. In my mind, it was not finished every time I did one. And then me and Eric went down to Claremont, which was the one I did 2 years ago, and I knew it would be tough. And a friend of mine sent me a message, said, they changed the bike course. It's got 5,600 feet of climb now. And I was like you. I hadn't been training on hills, not that much. And it was 90 degrees, and, it was just not fun from start to end. That race is not fun. Whenever I see anybody wearing a Great Floridian t-shirt, I'm like, dude, you're a different kind of person. Because you want some challenge besides like Lake Tahoe, go do Great Floridian. It's hot as hell, and it's just rough. The run's not that bad. It's just and I was glad to get to Panama City because I'd never done the ocean swim Ironman yet. That's another thing I liked about doing all 4. I wanted to get, in my mind, I know finishing Ironman, you're an Ironman, but in my mind, I still wasn't an Ironman, and I felt like if I could do all 4 of these at once, then maybe, just maybe, I'm actually an Ironman. Maybe. Well, and again, it was all personal, because I was like, well, Chattanooga's downriver. Well, that don't count. Louisville, we wore a wetsuit. Well, that don't count. Great Floridian, I will not question. Will not question anything. And then Panama City's the ocean swim, and that, for me, I was worried about throwing up because it's salt water and wavy, and it wasn't wetsuit legal for the freaking first time ever, and the course was long. It looked long, and it was long. It was long. And I was like, I just need more challenges. And by the time I got to Panama City, I was very tired, and I got on the bike, and I knew it was a fast course. So I pushed the best I could. It was still my second fast bike I've ever done, was at Panama City, but that course is flat. But then when I got to the run, I wasn't feeling great the first loop, but then a negative split the second half marathon by 15 minutes. And I actually felt better at the end of Panama City than any of the four, because I think it's because I knew I was done. That was the only race that I finished, got something to eat, took a shower, and went to the bar and started racing. It was the only one. The rest of them, I would be like, I got to go home. I got to start getting ready for the next one. And I only took off one day after each event, and then I would be back to training because I just couldn't. I couldn't be happy until I got to that finish line in Panama City. And I was also worried. Remember, Oric Broyles told that story about his bicycle ride? Mm-hmm. He said he was averaging a flat every 400 miles. And I did the math, and I'm like, I'm going to have a flat in one of these days. And I did not have a flat, but like Parker in Great Floridian, when you're going up hills like this, I dropped a chain. It was the first time I ever came off a bike here in Ironman, because my chain came off because the hills were so freaking steep that you'd have to gear down, and you were just more likely to drop a chain. And that was the first time I'd ever even rode in a small ring in a race, was at Great Floridian. Jeez. You know, even at Louisville, I never came out of the big ring. I mean, it was hilly. But Great Floridian, I spent 50% of my time in the Grenadier, I would say, something about like that. It was that bad. But anyway, that was my little Ironman Grand Slam. I'm not going to do it again. And I'm going to focus on Chattanooga for next year. I'm already registered because that race suits me good, and maybe try to get another PR before I get too old.